Now that we're done with Old Iron, let us go to the Shrine of Winter and find out if winter is coming or not. Let us pull that proverbial... Oh! Well, the groundhog did say, hey. Here you go. Now you'll notice that, yes, snow on this level in particular acts just like damp water in the other parts of the game, just, well, coated to be white instead of darkening. So you get this nice snowman effect as you wet yourself in this way. You'll perpetually have it on your boots at the very least, though some of it might linger on the lower parts of your cape from time to time, and your weapons themselves will fall out pretty early on. So, not so bad. Just a nice little detail for you to notice. Explicitly so with my character since he wears mostly black. And, kaboom booms? Will that be happening after the bonfire? Yes. I'll shut up now. So that is our piece of menace, the fragment that came here to ensnare the power of the Ivory King. And this is the nice fellow that'll join me for the early portion. I felt like playing with a random for this part, because again, the enemies in this area are not so bad to deal with, but it was kind of nice to go in with a chum. Now, you'll notice that this is a snow area. Poison DLC had poison grunts. Fire DLC had fire grunts. Could it be, perhaps it even be so, that one could hazard a guess that this ice region would have icy enemies in its icy barren wastes? Well, I suppose we'll find out now, won't we? Welcome to Elysium Lois. Snowpocalypse 2020. Man, this is what Disney World will look like if climate change keeps happening. And that's how I feel about it too. Yoink. I forgot how good the big old spinny winny is there. But yeah, these ice enemies, they're actually using rapiers. They look like straight swords, but they're actually rapiers apparently. Your character will treat them as rapiers, and the weapon itself isn't that bad, to be honest. When you have the ability to access it, it happens to have a sort of projectile for its strong attack. Not a casting ability, but you shoot those ice missiles they have at the cost of your durability, which for rapiers is not ideal. As when you use a rapier, it's not quite a katana, but the durability on those things tends to be significantly less than other weapons. Upside, if you happen to like using Black Knight weapons, well, they're pretty effective against things of snow, so I will be doing okay as far as DPS goes. It won't quite be the Slog Festival for me, because all my weapons are +5, my armor is +10 except for my gloves, and while I'm not using a 100% physical shield, I am using a shield that allows me more drops, which is preferred for me since half of my gear is dedicated towards just grinding. Also, you know this guy's a good co-op partner when he literally prepares warmth. He takes a little bit of time out of his day to allocate the ability to heal over time. So again, what a guy. I wish I could have played with him more. Sadly, as this footage goes on, my internet will randomly kick out, and then we will begin back at the beginning. And we will be without our nice hooded friend. Though this is no intended portion on my part. So I do appreciate this fellow's company in the snowy journey ahead. As you can see, we've got some of the brick assets reused from the Iron King DLC and the Iron Keep itself. However, it's been pushed and pulled in a few places since now we have snowy dust effects. And I rather like the coloring of all that together, to be honest. This level is much more horizontal than the other prior levels, with some verticality spliced in between the indoor areas, where we will spend a good portion of the DLC. For a bit. There's a couple outdoorsy sections, and this was me kind of just trying to flex for the guy that I was playing with, because I would be sporting a greatsword, but also popping out with my rapier, just to be kind of cool. And I will consume a lot of crack as well. I ultimately very much like this snowy level, just because it has a lot of things unique to it that you wouldn't find in other areas. And ultimately doing this DLC will impact your base game experience as well. So being able to access the wintry realm of Elysium Lois is something I recommend you do as soon as you are available to do so. Now, some things for you to note that I did not note right away while playing this section. In the beginning, when the snow is ravaging, and if you look visibly, you'll notice that the wind itself is very active in this region. That is done on purpose. Do not try to light a torch during this section of gameplay when it is windy out, as the torch will automatically be snuffed out. You'll go through a lot of flame butterflies that way if you aren't smart about it. A regrettable outcome. I almost thought that was a fog wall there again for a second. Now, again, here's a nice indoor area. It kind of reminds me of the Irofield dungeon in Dark Souls 3 a little bit. I think it might be the grandfather of that level in particular, because this little alcove corner looks very reminiscent of that, just a bit more, you know, gentrified and icy. Oh. But yeah, it's not altogether a bad level, I would say. One thing that was kind of funny, despite my internet kicking out, the warmth spell, when cast, did stick around for me, and I thought that was very funny. So even when he was unable to be here the entire duration, my fellow over there did give me a small boon, despite him not being there for the rest of the run. And it was deeply appreciated. And as you see, there's these assassin ladies. They do more damage than they need to with their little butter knives. So I honestly recommend preemptively killing them. They play an active role once you lift the wind and the blizzard outside weakens. Along with that, once the blizzard itself is gone, items that were once encrusted in ice will have fallen out. So I would keep an eye for that. If there's a chest you think you want to go back to, I recommend going back to it. However, keep in mind that mimics are in this DLC, and they are quite available. Luckily, if you're playing online, you'll see a lot of hints for that. And there's some light verticality. Snow, like in the Radiant City DLC of Dark Souls 3 with ashes, will soften your fall and reduce your fall damage a bit. Yep, that's when our friend tapped out, sadly. Oh, I miss him already. It's good to have a companion on these cold winter days. But more and more I look at it, I really do feel that they just recycled this brickwork from prior sections. And I can see them turning a quick buck. Now, what is important to note as well is that the icicle enemies that seem like they spawn huge masses of crystals, those are recycled enemies as well from Seif's Fortress. Oh, this is perfect. I'm gonna shut up now. Watch this. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Gotta grab my stuff and go. Don't mind me, there's nothing to see. Fuck this shit, I'm out. So, the reason that happened... Oh, hey, that enemy I was talking about. That's recycled from Dark Souls 1, but a little bit faster. Let's go ahead and kill him. And now, the reason Alva seems invisible is, like the other invisible enemies in the base game, Alva's sort of phantomized in some extent, and invisible to the player until they collect a specific item, which are these Eyes of the Priestess, I believe they are called. And once you collect them, it will help you be able to visualize and see all of the enemies in the game that you cannot lock onto. So all the ghosts in the base game are now rendered visible. And when you deal with Alva in particular, Alva is no longer invisible to you in the DLC, which is very handy. We do like that. Oh, I still got hit by that. Yikes. Goodbye. And it's just a nice thing for it to do. I do appreciate when DLC items in particular end up impacting the base game in ways that aren't just like ridiculous stat boosts. For example, if you're playing Dark Souls 3 with all of the DLC attached and you go into the Ring City, you could suicide run if you wanted to and end up getting a steel ring of protection that increases your physical resistance, and you get the New Game Plus variant of that. So just in your base game, you now have a +3 ring of steel protection, and you can also get the same thing for your stamina regen as well if you manage to find out where that is and you start just doing suicide runs for it. It would be difficult, it would probably suck, and you would definitely die during it. But you would have a way of accessing that quite easily, assuming that you made it through the ashes of Ariandel. Now, again, that's an artificial thing. It's not quite being able to lock on and kill enemies that you couldn't previously fight, like in the Sunken City or within the Shaded Woods. You can do that in Dark Souls 2, removing those enemies being a problem almost entirely, which, again, I really like that. That is a much more fun way of going about trivializing enemies instead of making the entire base game a cakewalk and a half, because now your tanky character, assuming that you're going tanky, will now just shrug off hits from a good portion of the roster. All the bosses are like, how come he's not dying? Why is this man so strong? The old Demon King probably would just shit his fucking raggedy ass craggy pants at that +3 steel protection ring. Because now he's both slow, unable to fight you, and just obsolete. Just a dying fragment of earlier Souls games. So sad. So bad. Oh no. Oh no. But let us continue on, and hopefully I'll break away from talking about Dark Souls 3. Oh yeah, she's already dead. Her legs. Yikes. But yeah, I don't find the brickwork here to be very interesting. The town square does seem a bit more desolate and lived in thanks to the huge banks of snow to give it that worn away, age-defying look, as it seems like it's been waxed away a bit. Very disheveled, unkept. I always thought this was the wrong turn, and then I saw a bonfire down here, and I went, oh, nope, nope, this is where we want to go. That'll do. Bump. Chillax. But this is the first hint. Like, I'll light the torch here. Now watch. I go outside, it's gone. Keep that in mind. Oh, hey! Crystalman! Nope. Backstabs are your friend in this level. Luckily, everyone here also has the same level of poise that the Ashen Knights that you had to deal with in the old Iron King DLC would have. So they aren't just going to completely shrug off your blows, luckily enough. They will have poise, mind. They do still have poise. but it's much more easy for them to be stun locked by your blows than vice versa prior to the, the Sunken City DLC, where the enemies gave -6 fucks to your existence. I will say Icicle Boys are a bit stronger than I remember. I really should have rested at that bonfire. Oh well. Live and let learn. Oh man, I must be getting tired. This is my second recording of the day. But oh well. Progress. I really do want to get these videos cranked out of Dark Souls 2 so I can start something anew. A newo, in fact. 2. I really want to play Neo. Oh my god. Haven't played in days. I beat the base game and I just started New Game Plus, but I'm doing all the main missions of New Game Plus for the channel, I think. Would be a bit more Souls-like, but faster and kind of more fun. I don't want to say too much more fun, because I do love these games. But the pacing of it and the Devil May Cry-ness of the combos, that I appreciate more than anything else. Souls games need to have a combo system to them. Like, if you add more of a fighting game regimen to your combo structure, oh yeah, that makes me feel good in all the places, and the places that cause my pants to tighten a bit. Oh man, Javelin man! Also, by the way, he's got that little AoE spell. Too bad he can be backstabbed 3 times a week, and also at least every other weekend. Like us. Oof. Ouchie. Sorry, Mr. Pokey Pokey. Consume all your drugs, kids. Always buy infinite amounts of life gems. You'll feel better about it later. I know I did. Ooh, and then we get a little bit of a look of the overall area. That's where we started out at. And, well, you get an extra peek out that skyline there. While this guy was about to poke your butt for looking out at the environment. As one is wont to do. A lot of these ice enemies. I like the shield javelin types a bit more than the regular spear guys. I don't know what it is about Souls games and making characters that are annoying to fight by giving them a fluted or a winged spear and a great shield or a little buckler. But those enemies in particular are always shit. Always the worst, never fun, don't play with them. They are bad. Do not shake their hands. Do not recommend sullying your fingertips with their company. Nuh-uh. Also, I appreciate the placement here, but honestly, all that does is it just invites enemies to hit you while you try and play around with these arrow launchers. It's similar to the giant ballista crossbow you can encounter while fighting your first pursuer. It's not that great. Not even useful, and if you will be doing the get goodnings, you'll be fine without it. Witness! The magic of lever and pulley. You've created a nowhere now, but now you can go somewhere else elsewhere, and it is completely unfixable. I think. Well, I would see no practical benefits of actually putting it back either, so there's probably a reason for that. Also, did he make a really good gushy sound when he got hit? I think he did. It was interesting for a moment, at the very least. I miss Dark Souls 3. I haven't played it in ages. I sunk a lot of time into that game. Oh hey, the wolves! Also terrible enemies! Good thing they're all dead! Fuck ya, pups! What a bunch of dicks. Always hate wolf enemies and their dumb bullshit. It's really bad in Dark Souls 1 because of the controls being shit, but at least in this one they're a little bit more palpable. In Dark Souls 3, you learn that it's much easier to go through and just deal with it by blocking and then punishing. Assuming you have a shield. If you don't have a shield, the dynamic changes quite a bit, so keep that in mind. Shields, however, at least for the first two games, I think are a bit more important. This is the most I've used a shield in a long time. I've become more and more friendly with them, but honestly, it's just for parrying tools. Being able to parry is a lot more sexy than just tanking hits and waiting. I hate the waiting. Why wait when you can bait? It makes life better. The passiveness that the shield invites, especially great shields that can't parry or bash, ugh, no thanks. I want something that lets me be able to do a bit more than just that. Uh-oh. Nice job! Point of no return time. Sure hope I can live down here. Yabba dabba doo. Oh dear. Ah! There it is. This is how it feels. The true five come. Stimulate your senses. Now that the fire that wasn't there is gone, we have this item, right? Wait, there it is. Eyes of the Priestess. The eyes of the first priestess who watched over Elsium Lois allows one to see the unseen. All great priestesses replaced one of their birth eyes with that, though this one appears to be returned. Grossly enough. Am I right? Ugh. The door doesn't open from this side. Hey look, it's a From Software game, boys and girls. Have you ever seen a door that opens from the right side? Ah! You also come across a lot of elite knights running around in this particular section. They'll just hang out using big, ridiculous weapons. Lies. Not here. They're fibbing. Don't you dare. Be wary. Oh, and here we are, continuing on. It kind of reminds me also of just a more cobblestoney version of Anor Londo from Dark Souls 1, just on the ground. Yep, a poor man's Anor Londo. That's what I think this is. At least before it becomes the Boreal Valley. I'm sorry, Boreal Valley, not Boreal Valley. Although, you kind of want to say Boreal Valley when you want to say Boreal Valley, don't you? I know I do. I'm just talking the fuck up about Dark Souls 3, aren't I? Nostalgia. Fuck, I should do a Solera run again. I like doing Solera runs. Those are fun. I had to switch to repair powder because I'm not trying to use stops. I remember just trying to push through here as much as possible, but all the fucking casters. So many castery boys. That jump didn't help anybody over there. See, the spear boys have weird poise, and that's why they annoy all the girls and boys, and I'm nearly dead. I better eat my crack. Eat 3 pieces of crack. Yeah, I'm gonna get help over time, don't hurt me. Well, that's the price we just have to pay, isn't it? And there we have it. Barrels. Foreshadowing! Very slight foreshadowing, because barrels don't start showing up in rooms up till this point. And then 3, 2, 1. There. Dark Spirit Holy Knight Arheim. Now Arheim is a fun specter because he uses that young white branch to turn into an object in the environment, and he waits. If you do not interact with him right away, he will slowly follow you once you pass him if he hasn't attacked you. And I always get amused by it because you'll notice this barrel just following you wherever you go, and once you look at him, he'll stop. And if you do not engage him, he will continue to follow you for as long as you are not looking at him. But you will see more of him in a bit. I kind of became a coward for a moment and took the long way around to try and kite some enemies. Because again, I'm running low on supplies, and I don't want to use all my repair powder at once. And fucking spear shieldmen are really getting on my nerves. Anyway, let us pursue progress, and not cowardice. Eh? Yeah, that's what we should do there. I am the most sleepy. More icy boys. Stop it. And then there's the caster variants that just take a little bit more to cast, but they cast bigger spells. That's right, that's the other variant of Crabby Old Womanson. And these areas will fall out after we get the blessings of some rich lady. Assumedly so. But we'll get there when we get there. I keep going forward. We need to stay in the present. Stay in the present. It's always hard to do. It's something I've been trying to learn and take up over time, but staying in the present, in the moment, is just, it's hard. Too many thoughts, you know? Too many things running up against each other. Hey, there's our boy. Have at thee, coward. Ow! Will you two hand like a brave man like me? Oh. Come on. Come on. Oh, that was a good trade. You see, that was most honorable. I try my best to have encounters where I don't heal when invaders are by. Unless they are NPC invaders, in which case, I don't know, sometimes I will, sometimes I won't. It depends on how cheap they are. Oh, so a bunch of people opened this chest only to get backstabbed. Okay, that makes sense. Silver talismans? Those are kind of useful for the mimics that can come up later, but honestly, you could just, you know, stab them. It's not that bad. I did it! I did it! Hooray! And now we're back at the beginning! Progress nullification! And look, the wind is still here. Kinda nice, seeing that glazing effect there. I kind of like the early parts of like just dust kicking around. Ah, sorry, getting stuttery and tired. But all in all, it creates this good atmosphere, and I feel like they really worked hard to create atmosphere this way round, instead of just kind of using darkness to hide effects that they did not fully render into the game, or putting bad enemy placement to slow you down instead of build you up. That sort of thing. Because I really did feel that they did that a bit with the old Iron King DLC, because man, oh man, I hated that area. That was bad. Now, since we've got the Eyes of the Priestess, let us try progress this way round. Now that we likely will be able to see Alva. Now, I use this of two... Oh, whoops, sorry. I use 2 summons for this section here. Hi, kitty. Now, the moveset that Alva, the King's Pet, has is largely more or less the same moveset that you'll see one of the Outrider Knights of Pont of Sullivan. I think it's the first one you fight in Dark Souls 3. Again, a lot of Dark Souls 3 is coming up in this conversation, but more or less, Vort of the Boreal Valley is Alva's, just a little bit lightened up, more bestial. Oh, and hey, the track finally kicked in. Oh man, that's a really muted track. And I'm dead. Whoopsie doodles. Let's try that again, except now I'm going in by myself with no summons. Now his health should be reduced somewhat. Mine is as well, but that's okay, because one of us is going to come out of here, and it's not going to be someone who isn't the player character. Take a look at the damage. Yeah, I feel good about that. I do not feel good about falling for that one, because that was a pretty telegraphed hit. Alva does telegraph pretty good, but it's the distance problem I find with Alva. Because Alva will hop around and make you double guess whether or not you'd be able to hit Alva before he does his swipes. That, and I always rolled prematurely on that left hook of the paw. I'm not sure why, it's just something I did. Oh, and then when they did the right, I did that as well. But for the most part, I can manage to keep up with Alva, at least in a health race. But Alva has this bad habit of kind of just running away for a half sec and then trying to charge me again. Or casting. When you see the Crystal Homing Soul Mask pop up, skip behind it. It won't be able to hit you. It is recommended not to do so. And then avoid the roll, stand an easy hit. Keep an eye on your stamina. Keep on rolling, play smart, and take your time. Don't get greedy. Also, there's a random AoE to hint at stage 2 where it gets a little bit of an icy aura. I didn't notice that right away. It's either an icy aura, or I think he's a bit more prickly, so he'll do more damage, or I'll take a little bit of, yeah, just a little bit more damage. Yeah, that's all. But it barely mattered in the long run. Problem solved. And there you have it, ladies and gents.
Yes! Yes!
Okay, thank you, Bison. Now, with that, I want to thank you for watching. I'll go ahead and finish up Elysium Lois when I get a chance. And, well, I hope you enjoy the contents of this video and the other videos in this series. If not, well, fuck, I'm sorry. Shit, not my intention to be bad. So if you like my stuff, like and subscribe. If you don't, well, show people how bad I suck, I guess, and link it over. Share it around. Let people know what I'm up to. Anywho, good luck and wear a mask. Be safe, please. Sure would be nice. Oh hey, churches, I thought they were closed. Yike. It's lit!